من Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One last thing that's not related to the topic of the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I got an email from a sister about a month ago complimenting me on one of the speeches, and then she asked about a hadith I had mentioned. And she said, is this a hadith sahih in Bukhari or Muslim? And then when I answered her back, I did not refer to her about the hadith because I felt she wants to put doubt in the hadith. She felt that the whole idea behind that long email is to put doubt in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and put doubt that in al-Bukhari or Muslim or other books there could be wrong the hadith. So I answered her back, as for books of hadith, they are right and we have no right to discuss them. If you dispute this, let's not go ahead and discuss the hadith itself. If you don't dispute it, if you dispute it, we can't discuss. If you don't dispute it, let's discuss the specific hadith. And she came back and showed her true color. She said, yes, you people believe in al-Bukhari and Muslim and all these books. We should only believe in the Qur'an. The Qur'an is the book of Allah. Everything else we don't know where it came from. And subhanallah, a couple of weeks ago, the same thing, a brother from the Friday prayer tells me the same thing. Why don't we just accept the Qur'an and leave everything else? Subhanallah, a new group of people now want to do this new thing, which is why not accept the Qur'an and leave the hadith because there is doubt. And yes, what we have to say, there is no Islam without Qur'an and Sunnah. The Qur'an is the book of Allah, and Sunnah Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is what explains to us. It is the application of Islam and how to understand Islam. And yet some of the people think that maybe if we leave the Sunnah, we can all unite because of the Qur'an. And when I answered this young lady telling her, so how do we pray? Because it just tells us in the Qur'an, aqimus salah. So how do we pray? Does everybody pray the way they like? She said, yes, why not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only asked us to pray, but didn't ask us to do all these things. So subhanallah, again, different groups, each group is to try to weaken Islam. And coming with what seems to be a logical statement. The logical statement is we have the Qur'an, why do we need anything else? And here we need the Sunnah because the Sunnah is the application of the Qur'an, the interpretation of the Qur'an. And if we don't agree with a certain hadith, that's up to us. But we cannot say the hadith is wrong or anything is wrong. We have to acknowledge that the books of hadith is right and this is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And if we don't want to apply it, that's up to us again. But we can't go around and saying, why don't we just go back to the Qur'an and leave? And I told both these people, I love reading about the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I enjoy all these wonderful stories I hear about him. Why do you want to take this away from us? Why do you just want to give us the Qur'an and say, here is your Islam? And this way each one of us interpret it the way he wants. And subhanAllah, we have to understand this aspect of Islam. The aspect of Islam is, yes, we are different. And there is nothing wrong that we are different. As one time a PhD came and said, why don't we put a committee together to look at all the mazhabs and come up with a new mazhab which is a compromise between the four of them. The difference in these mazhabs is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rahmah. As the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever you follow among my companions is okay, and their difference is a mercy. The difference between them is a mercy. So rather than closing these doors and somebody coming and putting these ideas among us that we just have to choose, why not accept this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and accept the difference? But very important things we have to realize. A lot of people come and ask me, is this hadith sahih, is it in Bukhari or Muslim? And the issue is, Bukhari and Muslim are true hadiths, but it doesn't mean a hadith that's mentioned in other books is not sahih. So they are sahih, but don't include all the hadiths that's sahih. We have to realize this. A lot of people say if it's in Bukhari and Muslim, yes, I accept it. Anywhere else, I don't accept it. Well, we have to realize that they did their best. As Sheikh Abdul Tawad tells me, the most accurate book of hadith is Al-Muwatta. Most of you might not have heard about it, which is Al-Imam Malik. Because Al-Imam Malik, when he says the hadith, he used to say Al-Sahaba, عن عقبة, عن عبد الله بن عمر, عن صاحب هذا القبر. Uqba said, Abdullah ibn Umar said, the Rasulullah who's sitting beside us in this Rasulullah who's buried in this grave said. So the link between him was 2 or 3 people, that they all are known to be good and accurate and survived each other. So he didn't have to go through the hard work that others did, because the others might have come 150 to 200 years, so they had to make sure that the chain of the hadith is accurate. As for Imam Malik, the chain is so small that he didn't have to go through the thing. And yet we have to accept, so yes, they are the books of Sahih, but a hadith that could be in another book could be Sahih too, and we have other ways to find out. And now also, we got an email that says, watch out from al-hadith that says, من لزم الاستغفار جعل الله له من كل ذنب فرجا مغفرة. Well, if the hadith that says, if you say Astaghfirullah al-Azim, they say this is hadith da'if or wrong, for Allah will forgive you and give you rizq. And my answer back is, yes, the hadith itself might not have been said by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And when somebody sends this email, rather than say this is hadith wrong, they should say the meaning of the hadith is strong from the Qur'an and sunnah. So yes, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam might not have said it in this chain exactly, but the meaning of it is strong. So it is not hadith, but even though the wording is right from Al-Quran and Sunnah, rather than what we find is people just saying this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. So yes, it is good for them to tell us this is not a hadith, but they have to also tell us the meaning is right. Just like other hadiths, they say, well, it is not one hadith, the whole thing is from a chain of hadiths that somebody put together. So yes, tell us Rasul did not say this in one occasion, but don't come and say this is a bad hadith or a wrong hadith. We have to watch for all these things, and we have to realize that to follow a Qur'an wa Sunnah, and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, إِنِّي تَرَبْتُ فِيكُمْ مَا نِتَبَعْتُهُ لَنْ تَضِلُّ بَعْدِ أَبَدًا. I have left among you what you will follow, you will never go astray. Al-Quran wa Sunnah, both together. So we will not go straight if we follow Al-Quran and Sunnah. And again, if we feel something about the hadith, we don't go around and say to people, we should not follow the hadith. If you don't want to, just leave it aside. But it is there for others who understand and apply it. And Al-Quran and Sunnah makes Islam, this is our religion. And we should not listen to those who come and tell us the Qur'an is only the accurate thing. Let's only follow the Qur'an, and let's enjoy the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, for he's the one who taught us, and he's the one who teaches the true Islam, inshallah. اللهم اهدنا مولانا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت اللهم بارك لنا فيما أعطيت اللهم كن معنا ولا تكن علينا اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا رب العالمين اللهم لا تجعل لنا في جمعنا هذا ذنبا الا غفرته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا هما الا فرجته ولا حاجه لنا في هذه الدنيا لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح الا قضيتها يا رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الاحياء منهم والاموات عباد الله ان الله يامر بالعدل والاحسان وايتاء ذي القربى وانهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم واستغفروه يغفر لكم واخر الصلاه